The mind system. The Mahamati said to the Blessed One, "Pray tell us, Blessed One, what is meant by the mind?" The Blessed One replied, "All things of this world, be they seemingly good or bad, faulty or faultless, effect-producing or not effect-producing, receptive or non-receptive, may be divided into two classes, evil outflowings and the non-outflowing good. The five grasping elements that make up the aggregates of personality, namely form, sensation, perception, mental formation and consciousness, and that are imagined to be good and bad, have their rise in the habit energy of the mind system. They are the evil outflowings of life. The spiritual attainments and the joys of the Samadhis and the fruitage of the Samapattis that come to the wise through their self-realization of noble wisdom, and that culminate in their return and participation in the relations of the triple world, are called the non-outflowing good. The mind system, which is the source of the evil outflowings, consists of the five sense organs and their accompanying sense minds, all of which are unified in the discriminating mind. There is an unending succession of sense concepts flowing into this discriminating, or thinking, mind, which combines them and discriminates them and passes judgment upon them as to their goodness or badness. Then follows aversion to or desire for them and attachment indeed. Thus the entire system moves on continuously and closely bound together. But it fails to see and understand that what it sees and discriminates and grasps is only a manifestation of its own activity and has no other basis. And so the mind goes on erroneously perceiving and discriminating differences of forms and qualities, not remaining still even for a minute. In the mind system there are three modes of activity distinguishable. The sense minds functioning while remaining in their original nature. The sense minds as producing effects, and the sense minds as evolving by normal functioning. The sense minds grasp appropriate elements of their external world, by which sensation and perception arise at once, and by degrees in every sense organ and every sense mind, in the pores of the skin, and even in the atoms that make up the body, by which the whole field is apprehended like a mirror reflecting objects, and not realizing that the external world itself is only a manifestation of mind. The second mode of activity produces effects by which these sensations react on the discriminating mind to produce perceptions, attractions, aversions, grasping, deed, and habit. The third mode of activity has to do with the growth, development, and passing of the mind system. That is, the mind system is in subjection to its own habit energy accumulated from beginningless time, as for instance, the I-ness in the eye that predisposes it to grasp and become attached to multiple forms and appearances. In this way, the activities of the evolving mind system, by reason of its habit energy, stirs up waves of objectivity on the face of universal mind, which in turn conditions the activities and evolvement of the mind system. Appearances, perception, attraction, grasping, deed, habit, reaction condition one another incessantly. And the functioning sense minds, the discriminating mind and universal mind, are thus bound up together. Thus, by reason of discrimination of that which by nature is Maya-like, an unreal, false imagination and erroneous reasoning takes place. Action follows and its habit energy accumulates, thereby defiling the pure face of universal mind. And as a result, the mind system comes into functioning and the physical body has its genesis. But the discriminating mind has no thought that by its discriminations and attachments it is conditioning the whole body. And so the sense minds and the discriminating mind go on mutually related and mutually conditioned in a most intimate manner, and building up a world of representations out of the activities of its own imagination. As a mirror reflects forms, the perceiving senses perceive appearances, which the discriminating mind gathers together and proceeds to discriminate, to name and become attached to. Between these two functions there is no gap. Nevertheless, they are mutually conditioning. The perceiving senses grasp that for which they have an affinity, and there is a transformation taking place in their structure, by reason of which the mind proceeds to combine, discriminate, apprise, and act. Then follows habit energy and the establishing of the mind and its continuance. The discriminating mind, because of its capacity to discriminate, judge, select, and reason about, is also called the thinking or intellectual mind. There are three divisions of its mentation which functions in connection with attachment to objects and ideas. Mentation that functions in connection with general ideas, and mentation that examines into the validity of these general ideas. The mentation which functions in connection with attachment to objects and ideas derived from discrimination discriminates the mind from its mental processes and accepts the ideas from it as being real and becomes attached to them. A variety of false judgments are thus arrived at as to being, multiplicity, individuality, value, etc. A strong grasping takes place which is perpetuated by habit energy, and thus discrimination goes on asserting itself. These mental processes give rise to general conceptions of warmth, fluidity, motility, and solidity, as characterizing the objects of discrimination, while the tenacious holding to these general ideas gives rise to proposition, reason, definition, and illustration, all of which led to the assertions of relative knowledge and the establishment of confidence in birth, self-nature, and an ego soul. By mentation as an examining function is meant the intellectual act of examining into these general conclusions as to their validity, significance, and truthfulness. This is the faculty that leads to understanding, right knowledge, and points the way to self-realization.
Then MAHAMATI said to the Blessed One, "Pray tell us, Blessed One, what relation ego personality bears to the mind system?" The Blessed One replied, "To explain it, it is first necessary to speak of the self-nature of the 5 grasping aggregates that make up personality. Although, as I have already shown, they are empty, unborn, non-dual, and without self-nature, these 5 grasping aggregates are form, sensation, perception, mental formation, consciousness. Of these, form belongs to what is made of the so-called primary elements, whatever they may be. The 4 remaining aggregates are without form and ought not to be reckoned as 4, because they merge imperceptibly into one another. They are like space which cannot be numbered. It is only due to imagination that they are discriminated and likened to space. Because things are endowed with appearances of being, characteristic marks, perceivableness, abode, work, one can say that they are born of effect-producing causes. But this cannot be said of these 4 intangible aggregates, for they are without form and marks. These four mental aggregates that make up personality are beyond calculability. They are beyond the four propositions. They are not to be predicated as existing nor as not existing. But together they constitute what is known as mortal mind. They are even more Maya-like and dreamlike than our things. Nevertheless, as discriminating mortal mind, they obstruct the self-realization of noble wisdom. But it is only by the ignorant that they are enumerated and thought of as an ego personality. The wise do not do so. This discrimination of the five aggregates that make up personality, and that serve as a basis for an ego soul and ground for its desires and self-interest, must be given up, and in its place the truth of imagelessness and solitude should be established.
Then said Mahamati to the Blessed One, "Pray tell us, Blessed One, about universal mind and its relation to the lower mind system." The Blessed One replied, "The sense minds and their centralized discriminating mind are related to the external world, which is a manifestation of itself and is given over to perceiving, discriminating, and grasping its Maya-like appearance. Universal mind transcends all individuation and limits. Universal mind is thoroughly pure in its essential nature, subsisting unchanged and free from faults of impermanence, undisturbed by egoism, unruffled by distinctions, desires, and aversions. Universal mind is like a great ocean, its surface ruffled by waves and surges, but its depths remaining forever unmoved. In itself it is devoid of personality and all that belongs to it, but by reason of the defilement upon its face, it is like an actor and plays a variety of parts, among which a mutual functioning takes place, and the mind system arises. The principle of intellection becomes divided in mind, the functions of mind, the evil outflowings of mind, take on individuation. The sevenfold gradation of mind appears, namely, intuitive self-realization, thinking, desiring, discriminating, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and all their interactions and reactions take their rise. The discriminating mind is the cause of the sense minds and is their support, and with them is kept functioning as it describes and becomes attached to a world of objects. And then, by means of its habit energy, it defiles the face of universal mind. Thus universal mind becomes the storage and clearing house of all the accumulated products of mentation and action since beginningless time. Between universal mind and the individual discriminating mind is the intuitive mind, which is dependent upon universal mind for its cause and support and enters into relations with both. It partakes of the universality of universal mind, shares its purity, and like it, is above form and momentariness. It is through the intuitive mind that the good non-outflowings emerge, are manifested, and are realized. Fortunately, it is that intuition is not momentary, for if the enlightenment which comes by intuition were momentary, the wise would lose their wiseness, which they do not. But the intuitive mind enters into relations with the lower mind system, shares its experiences, and reflects upon its activities. Intuitive mind is one with universal mind by reason of its participation in transcendental intelligence, and is one with the mind system by its comprehension of differentiated knowledge. Intuitive mind has no body of its own, nor any marks by which it can be differentiated. Universal mind is its cause and support. but it is evolved along with the notion of an ego and what belongs to it, to which it clings and upon which it reflects through intuitive mind by the faculty of intuition, which is a mingling of both identity and perceiving. The inconceivable wisdom of universal mind is revealed and made realizable. Like universal mind, it cannot be the source of error. The discriminating mind is a dancer, and a magician with the objective world as his stage. Intuitive mind is the wise jester who travels with the magician and reflects upon his emptiness and transiency. Universal mind keeps the record and knows what must be and what may be. It is because of the activities of the discriminating mind that error rises and an objective world evolves, and the notion of an ego, soul, becomes established. If and when the discriminating mind can be gotten rid of, the whole mind system will cease to function, and universal mind will alone remain. Getting rid of the discriminating mind removes the cause of all error.
Then said Mahamati to the Blessed One, "Pray tell us, Blessed One, what is meant by the cessation of the mind system?" The Blessed One replied, "The 5 sense functions and their discriminating and thinking function have their risings and complete endings from moment to moment. They are born with discrimination as cause, with form and appearance and objectivity closely linked together as condition. The will to live is the mother. Ignorance is the father. By setting up names and forms, greed is multiplied, and thus the mind goes mutually conditioning and being conditioned. By becoming attached to names and forms, not realizing that they have no more basis than the activities of the mind itself, error rises, false imagination as to pleasure and pain rises, and the way to emancipation is blocked. The lower system of sense minds and the discriminating mind do not really suffer pleasure and pain. They only imagine they do. Pleasure and pain are the deceptive reactions of mortal mind as it grasps an imaginary objective world. There are 2 ways in which the ceasing of the mind system may take place: as regards form and as regards continuation. The sense organs function as regards form by the interaction of form, contact, and grasping, and they cease to function when this contact is broken. As regards continuation, when these interactions of form, contact, and grasping cease, there is no more continuation of the seeing, hearing, and other sense functions. With the ceasing of these sense functions, the discriminations, graspings, and attachments of the discriminating mind cease. And with their ceasing, act and deed and their habit energy cease. And there is no more accumulation of karma, defilement on the face of universal mind. If the evolving mortal mind were of the same nature as universal mind, the cessation of the lower mind system would mean the cessation of universal mind. But they are different, for universal mind is not the cause of mortal mind. There is no cessation of universal mind in its pure and essence nature. What ceases to function is not universal mind in its essence nature, but is the cessation of the effect-producing defilements upon its face that have been caused by the accumulation of the habit energy, of the activities of the discriminating and thinking mortal mind. There is no cessation of divine mind, which in itself is the abode of reality and the womb of truth. By the cessation of the sense minds is meant not the cessation of their perceiving functions, but the cessation of their discriminating and naming activities, which are centralized in the discriminating mortal mind. By the cessation of the mind system as a whole is meant
the cessation of discrimination, the clearing away of the various attachments, and therefore the clearing away of the defilements of habit energy on the face of universal mind which have been accumulating since beginningless time by reason of these discriminations, attachments, erroneous reasonings, and following acts. The cessation of the continuation aspect of the mind system as a whole takes place when there is the cessation of that which supports the mind system, namely, the discriminating mortal mind. With the cessation of mortal mind, the entire world of Maya and desire disappears. Getting rid of the discriminating mortal mind is nirvana. But the cessation of the discriminating mind cannot take place until there has been a turning about in the deepest seat of consciousness. The mental habit of looking outward by the discriminating mind upon an external objective world must be given up, and a new habit of realizing truth within the intuitive mind, by becoming one with truth itself, must be established. Until this intuitive self-realization of noble wisdom is attained, the evolving mind system will go on. But when an insight into the 5 dharmas, the 3 self-natures, and the twofold egolessness is attained, then the way will be open for this turning about to take place, with the ending of pleasure and pain, of conflicting ideas, of the disturbing interest of egoism. A state of tranquilization will be attained in which the truths of emancipation will be fully understood, and there will be no further evil outflowings of the mind system to interfere with the perfect self-realization of noble wisdom.